if you are burning more calories than you consume, right, or you're consuming less calories than you normally burn, over time you're going to lose weight. That's called being in a caloric deficit. And it doesn't happen overnight, but you get the concept.
Chicken trucking, big wheels there humming, high rate of fuel consumption, missing mama, needing loving, rolling with the weight of sound, running like the southern shaker. I don't need no 40 acres to turn this rig around.
Welcome back to the Trucking Fitness Radio, the #1 driver's health and fitness podcast in the world. My name is Mark Manera. I'm the founder and CEO of the Trucking Fitness Company, and I'm excited to have you listening to this episode. As you're aware, we're on a mission to make the trucking industry a healthier place, and this podcast is just one of the ways we're doing that. So if you enjoy the show, or you get some value or motivation out of it, share it with a friend. You know, if you've got a friend who's a driver or who's just in the trucking industry as a whole, share it with them. And if we're going to start this movement together, we really need to work together to spread the message. So share it with someone who you think could get some value out of the show, and hope you enjoy. Today, we're going to talk about 3 habits that you can start doing today to lose weight on the road. But before we get into that, did you know you can be a guest on the podcast? We're having drivers come on the show and giving you or another driver you know the opportunity to get one-on-one help from me. We'll talk about your situation, what's been the hardest part about sticking to your workout or nutrition plan, and just give you the opportunity to ask any questions you have to me and get some specific help for your current situation. The whole conversation will be focused on helping you get on the right path to losing weight on the road. And it's 100% free, and you're also going to be able to inspire a ton of drivers in the process by just allowing them to kind of hear your story and take some pieces away from how we're getting you back on the right track. So we want to help you, and we also want to hear from drivers who have made a big transformation on their own. I can't tell you how many times I post a video on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram and someone comments on it and says, I'm down 50 pounds, or I've lost 100 pounds in the last 3 years. And first off, congratulations. I mean, that's amazing. And I'm pumped to hear those types of things. But if you've been through that and lost a ton of weight, or just found a way to stay healthy on your own on the road, you can help inspire thousands of other drivers by just telling your story. And we want to give you the platform to do that. So if you fall into either of those categories, you want help on your own, or you just want to tell your story, we want to hear from you. Go to the link in the show notes, or jump over to truckandfit.com/radio. So truckinfit.com/radio, and fill out our show application. It literally takes 3 minutes, people. Come on, go do that, and we want to get you on the show. So let's talk about today's show. And we're going to be talking about weight loss, which is something that a lot of drivers are talking about, thinking about, and trying to figure out. And if you're sitting there in the truck thinking to yourself, yeah, that's me, I gotta figure out how to lose some weight, I want you to know that first off, you're not alone. 99% of drivers who join our program, when they fill out their goals section in our intro questionnaire, they want to lose weight too. It makes sense, because when you look at the statistics, 85% of drivers are overweight. And when I see that number, I look at it in 2 ways. Number one, anytime someone is trying to lose weight, there is a personal aspect to it. You have to be motivated. You have to set up your routine in a way that, promotes weight loss and a healthy lifestyle. And, as much as you can, because we know there are a lot of constraints and barriers that make it difficult to do on the road. But, the other thing is you have to stick with it and stick to it through the ups and the downs. But, on the other hand, when I see statistics like 85% of drivers are overweight, 1 in every 7 drivers have type 2 diabetes, and as a whole, truck drivers have a life expectancy 16 years less than the average population. It tells me that there's an industry-wide problem here, and it needs to be solved. And I'm hoping that the Trucking Fitness Company can be a huge part of that solution. And one of our strategies to do that is to give you and other drivers the resources and guidance you need to lose weight on the road and, show you that it's possible to fit a healthy life into your crazy busy schedule. And I've found that helping drivers focus on small habits that you can do consistently over time is the best starting place. And, in the process, it can be a really great way to lose weight and get that whole weight loss journey started. And today, like I talked about already, we're going to talk about 3 habits that I really think are a great starting place for drivers. But I think it's important before we do that, I think it's important for you to understand how weight loss works. And I think of weight loss as a seesaw, the toy or the playground toy, right? And on one seat, you have how many calories that your body burns. So that's from going out on a walk, exercising, and just from sitting there, your body, burns a ton of calories to keep your organs, your heart pumping, and also your brain running, right? And then on the other seat, you have how many calories you consume every day through food and drinking beverages, right? And it can go up and down based off of how much you eat or how much you burn that day, but kind of you see how the seesaw goes back and forth. And if you have, so in general, if you burn the same amount of calories as you consume, so the seesaw is balanced evenly, you stay at the same weight. So think about it like this: if you have been 200 pounds for a couple of years, it means you probably found that balance point. And on the other hand, if you are burning more calories than you consume, right, or you're consuming less calories than you normally burn, over time you're going to lose weight. That's called being in a caloric deficit. And it doesn't happen overnight, but you get the concept. And on the other hand, if you are consuming more calories from sugary drinks or just high amount of calories you're eating, over time you're going to gain weight. So I think that's a really important concept to understand, because anytime you lose weight, it's because you are in a caloric deficit, which means you're consuming less calories than your body is burning. And that's how every single diet works, because that's how the human body works. And the cool part about all of that is your diet and my diet doesn't have to be the same, because if we end up with our seesaw in the same direction, we're going to both either lose weight, gain weight, or maintain weight, even if all of our food, our diet and what we're consuming is complete opposites. But if they add up and have the same ratio of calories burned versus calories consumed, you're going to either lose the same weight, gain the same weight, or stay the same, because you found that balance point. And so if you're having trouble losing weight and you haven't lost any, it means you're probably not in a caloric deficit, which means you need to find a way to consume less calories overall, or exercise more and burn more calories. And my recommendation to do that for drivers is through incorporating easy to do habits. And I'm going to talk about the 3 that are, I think are the best starting place for drivers, but there's a million different habits that you can do to overall consume less calories. So these are just 3 starting places. This is what I recommend. I think they're really easy to incorporate into your day-to-day routine. But if you've got other ones that you enjoy doing and fit better into your lifestyle, you can do those too. So the 3 habits I recommend are: number 1, take pictures or write down everything you eat for the day, on the average day. 2 is stop drinking your calories. And 3 is find an exercise program. And now I want to walk through each of those and talk specifically on why I think they're so important. So the first habit is to take a picture or write down everything you eat for the day. And when you look at the list, I want you to take a step back at the list of everything you consumed and find 1 or 2 small areas or ways that you can make your average day of eating 10% healthier. So when I say write down what you eat, don't change anything. Just eat your normal day and write down so you have an understanding of what that looks like. And the first reason I recommend everyone to do this is because for a lot of us, we don't completely comprehend everything, every single thing we eat. And, you may understand, hey, I'm eating Doritos or I'm eating this, but a lot of us don't understand the serving size or the amount of food you're eating either. So, I just said Doritos. Maybe you're eating Doritos, which is completely fine. Last weekend I had Cool Ranch Doritos for the first time in a while. I'll be honest, I'm more of a nacho cheese guy. But maybe you're eating some Doritos, and what you think is your normal serving size ends up being when you look at the back, the three servings of the actual serving size. So, a normal serving size is however many chips, and that's 150 calories. But a normal amount that you're actually eating is 450 calories, just like that. I mean, and when you actually take a step back and look at everything you're eating on an average day, it gives you, it can give you some perspective that the average person doesn't have most of the time. And so when you're writing everything down and taking photos of it, the goal isn't to change your average diet to make yourself feel better, but it's to get a good understanding of what your typical day of eating looks like, and then go back and find small places throughout the day that you could become just a little bit healthier, or cut down the overall amount of calories you're consuming to help you lose weight, or help move that seesaw down so you're burning more calories than you're consuming. So here are a couple of examples of ways that you can do that, or what that might look like. So, maybe when you eat a certain food, you look at the serving size on the back of the package, and you only give yourself one serving of that food instead of eating straight out of the bag or until you're full. Another idea is substituting one food for a lower calorie option. So, instead of a huge bun or a big bun for your burger, maybe you choose a whole wheat sandwich thin that you can grab at the store. And, the other thing is maybe you eat the same amount of food, but instead of eating a ton of carbs and fats, you decrease the amount of carbs and fats you're eating, and you eat more serving of protein, which is going to help you get more protein, which a lot of drivers don't get enough protein, but also keep you full for longer. And, I think by making just one or two of these small switches and doing it every single day consistently, you're going to start to see a lot of progress over time. Because, when you save 100 calories here, 50 calories there, they add up they add up over time when you're doing it for weeks and weeks. And, when you talk about small changes to our day-to-day, the next habit fits perfectly into it, which is stop drinking your calories. There are so many drivers who sit and drink empty calories of soda or sugary creamers in their coffee every single day, and those calories are not filling you up or giving you any nutrients, and they're just piling onto the calories to the one side of your seesaw, which is making it really tough for you to be in a caloric deficit and lose weight. So to give you an example, one of the drivers in our program came to us wanting to lose weight. He'd been driving OTR for 8 years or so, but he was overweight, has type 2 diabetes, didn't exercise, and one of the things that he mentioned to me while onboarding into our program was that he drank 2 12-packs of Pepsi every single day. 24 Pepsis every single day while driving. That's pretty crazy to think about. And we helped him transition to drinking calorie-free beverages and slowly decreasing the amount of soda he was consuming. And in the first month of our program, he lost 20 pounds strictly by making that transition. It was crazy to see, and I'm really happy to tell you that he doesn't drink soda anymore, which is awesome. And from that one small change, he's controlling his blood sugar better, he feels more energized, and he just has lost a ton of weight, which is amazing. And you're probably not in the same boat of drinking 24 sodas a day, but even if it's one or two, that have a lot of calories in them every single day, they add up. And if you can transition to finding a calorie-free beverage alternative, that might be 200 to 400 calories that you save every day from that one decision. And when you add that up week after week after week of doing that, that's a ton of calories you save and a lot of weight loss that you're going to see from just that one transition over time, which could be huge. So let's walk through what are some good 0-calorie options, drink options. Water is obviously really important. I personally struggle sometimes to drink water on its own. So I like to use Mio or another flavoring that's 0 calories to make my water have some flavoring. That helps me. Other options you have are diet soda. I personally love Sprite Zero, Diet Root Beer, and Diet Dr. Pepper, but any diet soda is great, especially if you're transitioning from regular soda to a diet soda. It helps with that transition, and you save a ton of calories and sugar. And you can also go with like a Powerade Zero, Propel, coffee or tea with Splenda. Zevia is another great soda alternative. Sparkling water is great, or just really any beverage that has 5 calories or less per serving. And I think of cutting calories in your drinks as a low-hanging fruit that, will help get you in more of a caloric deficit. And, that can be one of those 1 or 2 small changes that you make after writing down what you eat on your average day. So I would recommend you stop consuming calorie-filled beverages. And, the last habit that I want to talk to you about is finding an exercise program. And I think exercise is really important. Obviously, there's a ton of long-term and short-term benefits of exercise, but we all know that. I don't need to bore you with those, with that information. But what I don't think a lot of people understand is the concept of exercise being a linchpin habit. And if you've never heard that phrase, linchpin habit, to define it, it's a key behavior that, if done, initiates a spiral of other positive or negative behaviors depending on what the habit is, right? So to give you a negative example, because obviously exercise is a positive linchpin habit, let's talk about drinking alcohol. Maybe you start a diet that requires you to cut out alcohol. If drinking is your linchpin habit, then if you go and have one drink, that's going to cause other negative habits like eating more, staying up late, or being unproductive the next day to happen. So the act of drinking alcohol causes you to spiral down to other negative things. And obviously that's not the effect alcohol has on every single person, but you understand the point. Like, one habit or action can cause other things to occur. And when it comes to exercise, the act or process of going and working out, it's a positive linchpin habit, because you go exercise and all of a sudden you want to eat a little bit healthier, or you want to get a little bit more sleep, or drink a little bit more water, and all of these things, your life outside of just exercising becomes a little bit healthier without focusing on it or anything other than exercise. Because of that linchpin habit, you're doing it, it's part of your lifestyle, and then it creates a holistic effect on other aspects of your life. And I've found that personally in my own life, and other drivers in our program too. So I think it's really important that you find a way to follow a program and exercise on a consistent basis. And if you do that, other aspects of your life will become healthier without even trying. And if you want a great exercise program built to fit your lifestyle on the road, you should really give our program, the Truck Fit program, a try. We personalize it to your current fitness level and where you want to exercise at. So in your truck, outside your truck, or even at home. Plus, we'll give you a free resistance band, which is the only pieces of equipment you need. So go check out the link in our show notes if you're interested. And, I think those are the 3 big starting places that if you're a driver and wanting to lose weight today, start losing weight today, I'd recommend write down or take pictures of everything you eat on an average day. Stop drinking your calories and find an exercise program. I know it doesn't seem like that big of a shift because, you're used to making these 180-degree flips to your diet and lifestyle, but trust me, small changes over time make a world of the difference. Again, if you want to come on our show, get personal help from me, or just tell your story, go check out the link in our show notes, or go over to truckinfit.com/radio, so truckinfit.com/radio, and fill out our show application. 3 minutes, it's going to be worth it. I'd love to have you on the show. And thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Trucking, big wheels there humming, high rate of fuel consumption, missing mama, needing loving, rolling with the weight of sound, running like a southern shaker. I don't need no 40 acres.